Fame can elevate someone to global recognition, but behind the spotlight, some stars commit crimes that lead to prison. This is a countdown of 20 actors currently serving sentences, detailing the nature of their offenses, court proceedings, and outcomes. No sensationalism, just facts. Sean Combs, known for his music empire and entertainment career, was arrested in September 2024 on federal charges including sex trafficking and racketeering. Prosecutors alleged he ran an enterprise that exploited women through coercion, threats, and narcotics. In 2025, a federal judge sentenced him to 50 months in prison with a $500,000 fine and 5 years of supervised release. Multiple witnesses testified about his criminal activities, while the defense argued for leniency, citing his charitable work and lack of prior convictions. This case demonstrates how even highly influential figures can face serious legal consequences. Harvey Weinstein, former Hollywood producer, built Miramax and the Weinstein Company and wielded immense influence in the film industry. Starting in 2017, public accusations of decades-long sexual misconduct by multiple women led to criminal prosecution. In 2020, he was convicted in New York on charges of criminal sexual acts and predatory sexual assault, receiving a 23-year sentence. Complex legal battles followed, with retrials, partial acquittals, and additional convictions. The case highlights challenges in prosecuting historic sexual abuse and the impact of public movements like #MeToo. Joe Exotic became famous through Netflix's Tiger King, as a flamboyant zoo owner managing big cats. He was convicted in 2020 for murder for hire, targeting activist Carol Baskin, along with multiple wildlife law violations. Initially sentenced to 22 years in federal prison, parts of his sentence were adjusted on appeal. His case attracted worldwide attention, blending criminality with media spectacle, and illustrates how public personas can mask serious criminal behavior. Danny Masterson, known for That 70s Show, faced allegations of sexual assault spanning from 2001 to 2003, involving 3 women linked to the Church of Scientology. Initial attempts to suppress the cases were reportedly influenced by the church. Renewed attention from the Me Too movement led to investigations and trial. In 2023, Masterson was convicted on 2 counts of forcible rape, receiving a sentence of 30 years to life. He is serving time at California Men's Colony while pursuing appeals. Jared Fogle, once a Subway spokesperson for his dramatic weight loss story, was investigated by the FBI and discovered to possess and distribute child sexual abuse materials. In 2015, he pleaded guilty to federal charges of possession and distribution of child pornography and traveling to engage in illicit sexual conduct with minors. He was sentenced to over 15 years in federal prison and ordered to pay restitution totaling $1.4 million to his victims. This case highlights how public trust can be violated in shocking ways. Josh Duggar, of reality TV fame from 19 Kids and Counting, was arrested for possession and receipt of child pornography. Found guilty in December 2021, he was sentenced in 2022 to 12 years and 7 months in federal prison, with supervised release and mandatory registration as a sex offender to follow. Duggar's case sparked public debate regarding family-oriented reality shows and accountability for high-profile personalities. Colin Walker, a former actor and model, was convicted in 2022 for luring women through social media with fake job offers and sexually assaulting them. Prosecutors emphasized the calculated use of deception to exploit victims. He received a sentence of 50 years to life, making it likely he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Tamara Lynn Sitch, formerly a WWE diva known as Sunny, struggled with repeated DUIs. In 2022, she caused a fatal crash that killed a 75-year-old man. Her blood alcohol level was 3.5 times over the legal limit. She was sentenced in 2023 to 17 years in prison for DUI manslaughter. The case underscores how repeated reckless behavior can escalate to fatal consequences. Todd and Julie Creasley, stars of Creasley Knows Best, were convicted in 2022 for tax evasion, bank fraud, and wire fraud. Prosecutors stated they falsified documents to secure over $30 million in loans and filed bankruptcy to erase a $20 million debt. Todd received 12 years in prison while Julie received 7 years. Both were subject to probation and restitution post-release. Their case demonstrates how financial crimes can lead to significant legal repercussions, even for high-profile figures. Jen Shah, a star on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, was involved in a telemarketing fraud scheme targeting elderly victims. In 2022, she pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. She was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison and required to forfeit $6.5 million and pay $9 million in restitution. Shah's conviction emphasizes the real-life harm of white-collar crimes and exploitation, even when cloaked in celebrity. Ryan Grantham, a Canadian actor, murdered his mother in 2020 after previously planning violent acts. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. The court considered his mental health during sentencing, imposing a life term with parole eligibility after 14 years. His case illustrates how mental health issues can intersect with criminal behavior, requiring careful judicial consideration. Drew Drexel, winner of American Ninja Warrior, was arrested in 2020 for the sexual exploitation of a minor. He faced federal charges for manufacturing child pornography, enticement, and interstate travel for illicit acts. Sponsors immediately cut ties. Conviction on all counts could result in decades-long sentences, highlighting the serious consequences of crimes against children, regardless of public image. Skylar DeLong, a former child actor, was convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder involving financial motivation. He was sentenced to death by lethal injection in California. However, due to the state's moratorium on the death penalty, he remains on death row. His case is an example of extreme criminality by someone formerly considered a public figure. Shannon Richardson, a character actress, sent letters containing ricin to public officials, attempting to frame her estranged husband. Arrested and tried federally, she pleaded guilty to making and possessing a biological agent. She received 18 years in federal prison and was ordered to pay restitution. Her case highlights criminal acts that endanger public safety beyond conventional violent crime. Zara Fithian, a British actress and martial artist, and her husband were convicted in 2022 for sexually exploiting a minor over several years. Evidence showed grooming and manipulation. Zara received 8 years, her husband 14, and both must register as sex offenders. Fans were shocked by the stark contrast between her on-screen roles and her criminal behavior. Jerry Harris, known from Netflix's Cheer, solicited sexual images from minors starting at age 13. He pleaded guilty in 2022 and received 12 years in federal prison, plus 8 years of supervised release. His conviction demonstrates how online influence can be abused to exploit vulnerable individuals. Will Hayden, gunsmith and star of Sons of Guns, was convicted of sexual assault against minors, including his daughter. He received multiple life sentences plus additional consecutive terms. His case exemplifies egregious abuse of power and familial trust. Zach Avery orchestrated a $65 million Ponzi scheme, fabricating licensing deals with Netflix and HBO, promising false investment returns. Arrested in 2021, he pleaded guilty to securities fraud and was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. His case shows how celebrity associations can be misused to defraud investors on a massive scale. Amy Locane, known for Melrose Place, caused a fatal DUI crash in 2010, killing a 60-year-old woman and injuring her husband. Initially sentenced to 3 years, she was resentenced to 8 years after appeals. She must serve at least 6 years and 10 months before parole and is incarcerated at Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women. Her case highlights accountability in vehicular deaths caused by intoxication. Michael Jace, known for The Shield, murdered his wife April Jace in 2014 in front of their 2 children. Evidence included prior domestic violence, extreme jealousy, and financial difficulties. Convicted of second-degree murder, he received 40 years to life and is serving his sentence at Corcoran State Prison. His case underscores the tragic consequences of domestic violence escalating to murder. These 20 cases demonstrate that fame does not shield individuals from the law. Criminal actions, whether financial, sexual, or violent, carry consequences. The victims, families, and society must be considered in understanding these convictions. Public image and celebrity status can mask crimes, but accountability eventually prevails.